My brain power has been utilized by many persons within politics for 15 years, and a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Yet when it was time for me to emerge politically, they didn't want to because they couldn't control me after they'd used my brains. You women better wake up if you want to help to change America around. You do the work. You better wake up. And don't be afraid. Have confidence in yourself. And the ability that you have is ability and talent given to you by God. And don't let anybody use you. Don't let people continue to use you and to manipulate you. The only thing that you have is your integrity and the principles and the convictions of what we are fighting for in America. In terms of opening up this system so that a lot of people can really feel that they can participate in it and not have that small, tight few that continues to manipulate every one of us. And many of them are in advanced years now, and they won't let go.
Welcome all. Welcome to the show. My name is Ria. I use she, her, pronouns. I am a dark-skinned, brown, Black woman wearing an orange dress with my shoulders out. Enjoy. Thank you all so much for being here. We really appreciate you all coming and being here, joining us. So we're going to just give a few minutes for folks to join, and we're going to get started. Appreciate you all coming and joining and getting on screen with us today. We have ASL interpretation available today on screen throughout tonight's event. Thank you so much to Kaylee and Matthew for helping us make this launch more accessible. If you want to listen in Spanish, you can dial the number at the bottom of the screen, 1-800-309-2350, conference ID 22024#. As we bring ourselves into the space, I just want to start us with some words and a grounding from Nikki Giovanni, a poem. I came to the crowd seeking friends. I came to the crowd seeking love. I came to the crowd for understanding. I found you. I came to the crowd to weep. I came to the crowd to laugh. You dried my tears. You shared my happiness. I went from the crowd seeking you. I went from the crowd seeking me. I went from the crowd forever. You came too. One of the goals of the Day Without Us is to make the connections between all fights for justice, freedom, and safety around the world. We would be remiss not to mention the devastating climate issues being faced in Pakistan, where severe flooding has left hundreds of dead and a third of the country underwater. Meanwhile, in the United States, the largest city in Mississippi, Jackson, where over 80% of all 160,000 residents are Black people, no longer have access to potable water. To support our folks down in Jackson, please go to bit.ly, MS Rapid Response Water Fund, and share your support with those folks. Thank you so much. In the meantime, we are so excited that you are here, that you're joining us on this journey for this launch day. We are so excited to share our big news with you. This has been a long time coming. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to Erin to introduce you to the rest of the team.
Thank you, Ria. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm Erin Lang. I'm a brown-skinned Black woman. I'm also in an orange shirt with my shoulders out, with gold earrings and natural hair. Everybody couldn't be here tonight. Some of us are behind the scenes. So I want to shout out our teammates who you won't be able to see on camera. We have Tracy Corder, Valissa Thompson, Leslie Mack, and joining me right now to tell us everything about what is coming on September 30th is Tiffany Flowers and Angela Peoples. Come on, ladies.
Hey y'all.
So what we doing? Why we here, y'all? What's up? What's going on the 30th? The people want to know. You muted, Tiff.
After all of these years in the pandemic and working so hard and so long on camera, one would think I would know better. I'm so embarrassed. Hi, Mom and Dad. Let's talk about it. Yeah, I want to tell the story. So this project really is a labor of love, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Angela and Leslie and Ria and myself were all on a text message thread that has started actually serendipitously enough earlier in this year because we were going to do some work around democracy. I forgot to introduce myself. Look at me. I'm Tiffany Flowers. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm Tiffany Flowers. I'm a
Okay.
brown skin, darker brown skin black girl. I have black woman. I have on large glasses, red lips, and curly, freshly curled locks just for y'all. Um, so back to the story. We were on another text thread because we were going to work together on some democracy campaigns because all of us are organizers in some way, shape, or form in our day jobs. And then everything started to happen that we've experienced, right? First, there was the leak and there was despair. And then there was the decision and there was absolute and real despair. And we had no idea what to do. I mean, you all remember the images. It wasn't so long ago, right? There was the elected officials across the street on Congress steps singing God Bless America, I think. And then protesters at the Supreme Court that you could hear across the street chanting over them. And it just felt hopeless, to be honest. It felt hopeless. And like I said, because many of us are organizers, people were reaching out to us and asking, what can we do? What's supposed to happen? What about the kids? You know, is this the beginning truly of the end? And because we're organizers, we said, we don't agonize, we organize, right? When there's nothing else, that's what we do. So want to add a little context here. We're not doing anything brand new. This is something that women have been doing, and we are standing on the shoulders of giants from women around the world. The first women's strike actually happened in Iceland in 1975, and that was for gender equality, and it was for more women in government. And then in Poland, in October of 2016, the women called for a nationwide strike after legislation was put forward to penalize abortion. And then in Mexico, in March of 2020, whether you know it or not, in the midst of the pandemic, the women over there had to turn up because of the high levels of unprecedented violence against women, and women had to take a stand and say no more. But in our thinking, this wasn't just about women. It's actually, or abortion, it's actually about reproductive justice. And that's a term that, as you rock with us, you're going to hear us say over and over and over again. As we said, standing on the shoulders of giants. Reproductive justice is a term that Black women coined that actually is bigger than abortion, too. It teaches us that we can control our bodies, that we can control to have, we can choose to have children, we can choose not to have children, we get to choose how to have children, and we have a very fair and reasonable expectation that when we have these children, they will live in a fair and equal and safe and clean environment. So then we got to talking, well, what do we do? And so the text thread was just, it was flying. There was discussions about moving in the direction of women. Do we do it for a week? Do we totally remove ourselves? How do we go about this? And, you know, the conversation just kind of took off, and we were going in all sorts of directions. And I don't know, Angela, what would you add?
Well, I will say for myself, hi everyone. I'm Angela Peoples. I use she, her pronouns. I am a brown skinned woman with long braids, orange braids, also in an orange top. And you see a theme. And I'm so happy to be here with you all and happy to be a part of this team. I will say, for me, Tiffany, you know, you mentioned the true meaning of reproductive justice, and as all of these text threads were flying, and as the news about the fall of Roe versus Wade and the onslaught of abortion bans, not to mention laws that were also challenging the rights of queer folks and trans folks to live and be themselves in places like Florida, where I live. I was also in the early weeks of my second pregnancy. I'm the mother of a little Black girl, and you know, prayerfully soon to be another child. And I was, you know, hearing the news, hearing the stories, processing it, also while in the hospital, dealing with a threatened a miscarriage. And before I continue, I want to just offer a bit of a content warning for folks who have experienced pregnancy loss or lost a child, because it's a really tough topic to talk about sometimes, which is also related to my work in this moment. For me, it was, you know, I'm sitting here wanting to make sure that, you know, this fetus that's growing in me, I'm so grateful and happy to have this miracle, but also really terrified, to be very honest with you. Like I said, I live in Florida, and in Florida, as as we're talking about what do we do, how can we offer, you know, a way for folks to take action in this moment. I'm also seeing the news of a 16-week abortion ban going into effect, while I'm also hearing from a doctor that my threatened miscarriage is also being termed as a threatened abortion. So, right, you can imagine, as a Black woman trying to do the math in a state that already wants to criminalize me and find ways to tear my family apart, to make it harder for us to survive. I'm sitting here thinking, what do I do? What can I do? How can I keep my family safe? How can I keep this new soul that's growing in me safe? And how can I protect myself, even as I'm so angry, even as I'm so just furious at all of what I'm seeing, people talking about what it means to who can raise a child, or who needs hormone care, or who needs what type of doctors should have a say. People have no idea what it is like to be experiencing those things. The people that are making those decisions have no idea what it's like to be experiencing those things in real time. While also dealing with the emotional impact. And so for me, when the idea of a day without us came into life, it really felt all the more urgent for me to join this call and this effort, because of all of the things that I was experiencing in my heart, in my soul, in my body, and just knowing so many other parents that have dealt with these different levels of concern, and recognizing that, you know, if it's not going to be us, if we're not going to say enough is enough, then who will?
That's exactly right. And so from there, between us, we started thinking about who could we talk to? Who are the other people who are probably getting these calls as individuals, as organization leaders, as, you know, leaders in their communities, and thinking about what would be the way that we could actually help people understand the gravity of this moment, that it's so much bigger than abortion and women and individual stories, but that this is truly the time to look at the ways that climate, that labor, that youth organizing, the student loan crisis, I mean, all of these things that work together to keep us apart, right? That keep us, that work under the framework of capitalism, that keep us working so hard that we can't dream, that keep us working so hard that we can't stop and pause and ground ourselves in the moment, in our communities, and who could lead that effort. And so because we know that this work starts with Black women, and the very Black women who came up with the reproductive justice framework, we started with them. So we went and we talked to the leaders of In Our Own Voice, which is a partnership of 8 Black reproductive justice organizations, and Black Feminist Future, and Sister Love, and Black Feminist Project, and the Afia Center. And when we got the blessing, honestly, from those orgs and those people that they would be down with this, and they thought that it would be a great thing to try to build to, we kept going. It gave us the wind beneath our wings. It puts a little wind behind our backs. So then we were like, okay, if we have the reproductive justice movement, then what we need the voter people, right? Because voting is reproductive justice. So shout out to our friends at Black Voters Matter. We called Cliff, we called Latasha, we called Wanda, and we were like, what do y'all think? And then we called our friends over at Move On, because we were like, of course, Move On cares about this. We've seen them mobilizing with other partners. And so, hey, Rana, what do you think about this? And so on and so forth. Maurice Mitchell at the Working Families Party, and just so many other folks that were so supportive of this idea, that gave us a lot of encouragement and support, and told us keep going, because this is going to help us figure out how to answer the call and step up in this moment. So that's kind of how we got here. And on July 28th, so the decision came, I believe, at the end of June. By July 28th, we had our first interest meeting, again, because we're organizers. And we started actually writing out a campaign plan. And so welcome. Today is the day that we give birth to Day Without Us. It's been a secret, built in love, and a lot of energy has gone toward this. And it's truly an offering built by us, but an invitation to all of you to take action.
Thank you, Tiffany and Angela. I think, one of my favorite parts about this project is that we are being expansive with the definition of reproductive justice, because we need people to understand how connected all of our movements are in this time. So thank you all for continuing to be willing, to push that line for us. So we got the backstory. What are you asking folks to do? What do we want these people to do on the 30th?
I'm going to just start. Is actually the 46th anniversary of the Hyde Amendment. And the Hyde Amendment, for those who don't know, blocks federal Medicaid funding for abortion services. And Medicaid, right, is the government-assisted healthcare that people receive.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I think we had a little technical difficulty. So could you start from the top, please?
Absolutely. I said I'm going to give a little framing about like the actual day, why we chose the day, and then I'm going to let Angela talk about what we're going to do, how we're going to turn up. So Friday, September 30th, I'm sure if you've been following any of this at all, you've heard about the Hyde Amendment, right? So the Hyde Amendment is actually, it's something that blocks federal Medicaid funding from being used for abortion. So basically, if someone is pregnant and they're on government-assisted insurance and they need to get an abortion, even if the doctor says this could mean the difference between your life and your death, they cannot use that insurance to save their own life. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's been in effect for 46 years. It actually needs to change. And if we're going to be honest, as the conversation has continued to go, it is a policy that does and will always penalize people for being poor, for being Black, for being not able to overcome the many systems that work against them every single day, up to and including losing your life for becoming pregnant. And so we thought, in the midst of all of the attacks that are happening on our bodies every day, what a day to commemorate the Hyde Amendment by taking our bodies away from the equation and stepping into a moment of community care, and learning. So that was the thought behind the action.
Yeah, and in addition to September 30th being the anniversary of the Hyde Amendment, it's also right before the Supreme Court here in the United States goes back into a new session. And there are so many issues, just like the last session where they heard a bunch of cases that really decided whether or not so many of us had rights to get the education that we want or need, to make decisions about our bodies, to make decisions as a community about our education, our rights when we are interacting with the police, right? The Supreme Court's going to hear a bunch more of those cases. And so this is another reason why the Friday before this next session is important for us to make a statement, for us to be clear that we are not going to take this business as usual anymore. And so what are we asking folks to do? As Tiffany said, we're asking you to take a step back, to remove your body, to remove your brilliance, to remove your energy, to remove your power from these systems that are just taking and taking and taking, and are trying to exhaust us mentally, spiritually, physically. We're asking you to take a step back, and as you're taking that step back, take a step to turn into each other, to turn into your community, to learn together, to grow together, to experience joy together. And so what does that look like? If you are able to join us in opting out of business as usual on the day without us, we will have a virtual space to learn, to offer. You'll be hearing from folks who are experts on the issues, the intersections that Aaron was talking about around how climate justice is also a reproductive justice issue, why democracy and voting rights is also connected to our reproductive justice, while the fight against police violence is so deeply tied to our reproductive justice. You will hear from folks who are doing the work in your communities and cities and in towns that are just like yours, to hear how are they doing the work and what does it look like for you to join us to get connected into that. We will have resources for folks who are able to join us for that day. We also recognize that for lots of reasons, for lots of systematic reasons, some folks may not be able to opt out on that day. And we understand that, and we want to figure out, we are working to figure out ways for you to join us and to participate in this day as well. We're also asking you to, as we say, turn into each other, to be brave together, right? So if you're watching this and you're going back into your office tomorrow, or you're going back to the restaurant that you work at or the retail store, and you talk to your colleagues, talk to your work besties to figure out what can we do together to participate in this moment, because we know how important it is, but also to figure out ways to do it that are taking a step to be brave, but also doing it so that we can protect ourselves for that next day and that next fight. And then we are also asking folks, as I said, we'll have content available here on daywithoutus.com live. We'll have some entertainment. We'll have some really obviously interesting speakers and some lessons. You already know it's a Black girl show, so it's going to be a party. It's going to be a good time no matter what. And you can see we already have a good time together. So we really want you to join us. And I also just want to make a plug. You know, I am a member of Divine Nine Sorority. Shout out to my Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated sisters. And I know that not all of us are in, organizing spaces. I know that there are a lot of folks that don't see this work or these type of moments, these actions as for them. We are doing this for and with you, right? And so I want to just encourage you, if you're watching this, if you're a healthcare worker, you're a nurse, you're a teacher, shout out to all of the teachers and everybody that's doing back to school. Like, so much love to y'all right now. But this is for you. And we want to do everything that we can to make this an opportunity that you feel like you can step into a brave space. If not now, when? Right? If not us, then who? And so just want to say that if you're watching this or you're seeing this or you're hearing this and you're like, oh, this is cute for them, they're not talking to me. Nah, fam, we're talking to you. Okay, come, join us, be with us. If you are a healer, if you are an artist, if you are someone who just has the space where everybody comes to your house on Fridays to chill, drink some wine, watch some shows, this is for you too. And we're going to have resources for you to figure out how to pull your folks together to participate in this day without us.
Fabulous.
Man.
Absolutely fabulous. So wait, I just want us to reiterate. This is for everyone. This is not
everybody.
Okay. This is for everyone. And if you are watching this and you have people in your life that have complained, that have asked, what can we do? People that feel they are doomed right now, share this with them. After September 30th, you cannot say that you don't know what to do anymore, because we are going to be providing you the context so you know exactly how to fight. Okay. So I'm bought in. I think the people watching are bought in. What are we asking folks to do next? How do people get involved?
I just want to. I think that's a great question, Aaron. But before we get into that, there is one thing that I want to know. Day Without Us is not a new organization. This is about one day of action together in community, because we know and we believe that all power building is local. So even when you go to talk to your senators and your Congress people, when you talk to them in district, right? When you call them in Washington, D.C., they ask you your zip code, they ask you where you live, because they know that the people where they live, and we know that the people where we live are powerful. They're the people, they're the healers, they're the helpers, they're the people that lead our churches, they're the people that help our kids get to and from school every day. They're providing care, and we trust them. So what we're asking everyone to do is not join in a symbolic day of action. Do not stop what you're doing where you are and come to a major city in America. We are offering a day of action, like Angela and Aaron said, with entertainment, with real tools to help you understand, make some sense. And then in your city afterwards, and if there's not somebody leading in your city, we welcome you to please plug in to be somebody who can take lead in your city. And again, we'll have more resources in the coming days. We just didn't want to overwhelm you because this is a lot. But we want you to go outside, as the kids say, and touch the grass and be safe, but also meet the people in your community. We know people in Black Voters Matter, in We Testify, in Black Men Build, in local organizations in Washington, D.C., like Harriet's Wildest Dreams, like the People's Advocacy Institute, like the Alliance for Youth, like the Southern Workers Alliance. These are all people that are doing work in their cities, in their towns, every single day. And like Aaron said, this is an invitation for every single person that said, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know who to trust. We're offering you a menu, darling. Darling, this is a menu of options. And so please feast, enjoy, take a bite, take a nibble, take a gander. And for folks that want to know about what happens after September 30th, the magic of all this is that it's truly up to you. Because again, we're not asking you to drop what you're doing and come to a major American city. We're saying the action is in Wichita. The action is in New London, Connecticut. The action is in Columbus, Ohio, right? The action is in the Inland Empire. It's not just in LA. So I just want to note that, Aaron, this is truly an invitation. We are thinking about everybody from Arkansas to Alaska, Connecticut to Colorado. Join us.
Yeah. It can't be overstated. It can't be.
So to that note, when we're talking about just wrapping up what Angela said, we do have a whole bunch of tools for you because we know that this is going to be a very brave moment for a lot of people. It may be the first time you ever take action. Maybe you never went to a protest. Maybe this will be the first time you do anything because you're so frightened or compelled or just want to take action finally because you know what? It's been a rough few years since 2020 and we could all take a beat together. So just want to name that we are not perfect. We are building a coalition. We are building a table. We are accepting more and more national partners. You do not have to be a national organization. You do not have to have large budget. What you have to have is a spirit of being ready to do something new and something different and join into community. So y'all ready to rock with me? You ready? Right? I'm going to give you some things that you need to do so that we can spend these next 29 days together, building, feeling safe, and just know that like when you when you click those links, these are the human beings on the other side. So be nice to us.
Please be nice.
Please be nice to us. We're just human beings just like you. So here we go. Go today without us and sign up to get more information. Give us your email address. Again, it's us. You're looking at the people that'll have your email address. Our friend Tracy and Ria, who was on stage earlier, they're in charge of the data. They're managing. So you're sending your emails to us so that we can get back to you. Because we want to be able to alert you of trainings. We want to let you know more about the working groups we have. We don't want you to just show up on the 30th. There's a long list of things that have to get done to make this day successful. Hey, Syracuse. We really, really want as many hands lighten the work. I'm sure that's not exactly the proverb. Hi, Pittsburgh. I'm sure it's not exactly the proverb, but y'all know what I'm saying, right? So go today without us and sign up to get more information by giving us your email address, please. Follow us on social media. I know some of you are watching this on YouTube, somebody's on Twitter, somebody's on IG. So follow us everywhere. Everywhere that you have an account, follow us. Obviously, we'll be cross-posting information. But make sure you get it in as many places as you can and share it with everyone because we're going to do this together. Talk to your family and friends. I know I sent this link to my mom, my dad, my stepmom Bev is watching. I hope my parents-in-law are watching. I think my husband's watching down the hall. I hope my little cousin, my mom sent it to my little cousins. Because in the words of Queen Beyonce, I'm telling everybody, and I mean everybody. And I want to get down into everybody because that also means students. We are recruiting youth. The kids got it bad too, and we're all in this together. And finally, I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I saw the Syracuse Women's March said they're with us. If you are a national organization or any other organization fighting for democracy, voting rights, local abortions, a book club, you have some art, you're a healer, you want to be able to throw down in community. Our friend, my sister, Angela Peoples, who was on stage before, hey, Texas. My friend, Angela, who was on stage before, is actually the queen of what we're calling pop-ups. And so if you join us, you will get to meet and work with Angela and her team, and we will walk you through and we will give you support for how to do this in your community. I can't say enough. Everybody on the team knows I'm a crybaby, so I'm going to close out here by just saying you literally could have been anywhere in the world tonight. And you were like, what are they talking about over there? And you came and you stayed and you're still here rocking with us right now. So that must mean that you feel this in your heart and you're ready. So what I'm going to ask you is to keep that same energy, find a way to plug into the work, and join us for a day without us, because it's time. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time. Aaron?
Thank you, Tiffany. Okay. So that's it, folks. Tiffany really closed it out. I just want to remind you again to follow us on social media at Day Without Us. But I also just want to reiterate that this is not perfect. We are not perfect people. This won't be a perfect action. So that is not an expectation from anyone that we are inviting to this day of action. We want everyone to show up as whole, as honest as they can be, because this impacts every single one of us. And quite frankly, there are more of us than the people against us. And it's time that we understand that and that we are able to see each other as comrades and teammates across our identities, across our income, across our work, across our races, across our province, and everything else. This, to me, is our last chance. So I'll see you all on the 30th, or maybe before that as well, sorry. See you up until the 30th. But we're good. That's all, folks. Thank you so much for coming tonight. This has been a true labor of love. Signing out. Have a good evening.
My brain power has been utilized by many persons within politics for 15 years, and a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Yet when it was time for me to emerge politically, they didn't want to, because they couldn't control me after they'd used my brains. You women better wake up if you want to help to change America around. You do the work. You better wake up. And don't be afraid. Have confidence in yourself. And the ability that you have is ability and talent given to you by God, and don't let anybody use you. Don't let people continue to use you and to manipulate you. The only thing that you have is your integrity and the principles and the convictions of what we are fighting for in America, in terms of opening up this system so that a lot of people can really feel that they can participate in it and not have that small, tight few that continues to manipulate every one of us. And many of them are in advanced years now, and they won't let go.